we're going to talk about this. We finally had someone commit to Texas. It had been a while. I think Max Wright was the last one. Nicolas Robertson commits to the Texas Longhorns. 3-star recruit out of Klein High School, plays offensive tackle there. He's going to play guard at Texas. What do you think of him, and what do you think he brings to the 40 acres, Gerald?
I mean, big body, right? He's got a massive frame on him, huge kid. He is, and this is not meant to be a shot at the kid. He comes in at 335 right now, but it's like a soft 335. So he probably has a little bit of a longer way to go to get to the field, just needing to reshape his body because he's one of those kids. And again, this is not a shot at him. He's just the biggest, nastiest thing on the field. And so he doesn't have to be, have the right body. And he's playing in a high school system and in a high school nutrition and strength programs. Like he's going to come to Texas. And I think you're going to see him be somebody on a little bit of a longer development curve. But what I like about him, great feet, good hands, uses his body really well. And my favorite word to talk about with offensive linemen, he's aggressive. He's nasty. He's mean. He will put somebody on their keister. Again, he's got some way to go in developing, and I think his body's going to take a little bit of time to reshape. But when you think about the types of bodies that Kyle Flood likes to have on campus, this is like made in a lab kind of guy, kind of clay that he wants to build around.
I 1,000% agree. I think there was an offensive line camp, I believe, a couple months ago before Gerald joined the channel, and I made a video basically breaking down of all these offensive linemen and like your turnkey ones that can step on the campus and play right away, like your Fila Gojo, who we'll talk about later, and then you're also your John Turntine. Whereas guys like this, Max Wright, Nicolas Robertson, I've said, hey, if they're patient and Texas develops like they currently do at the offensive line position, these guys are going to be very good football players for Texas if they decide to come here. He decided so far to come here, so did Max Wright. Hopefully they stick with us. If they can be patient, I think they're going to be really good football players. I mentioned both those guys actually in the video of like the 15 offensive linemen. I said, hey, I think these two guys with their frame, what I saw from their high school tape and the way Kyle Flood talks about them, I think they're guys that can slide in, sit for 2 years, and be very good football players for Texas. So I'm very excited about this. I love that we got both of them. I called both these guys up on them. I said, I would like these two if I can have two guys that will be willing to sit for a while. Hey, we got them. We just got to keep him in the boat because this guy, I think, just like Max Wright, will slowly creep up these boards. Like, I think we were talking about Nicolas Robertson as a low 3-star. He's already a mid 3-star. He'll probably end up being a high 3-star, low 4-star by that the end of the cycle. Same with Max Wright. So we got to hold on to them because schools will be coming harder, especially when it comes time to sign. So I'm super excited about both those guys.
Yeah, and I think he might be a 4-star in one of the services already. Like I think 247 has him as a 4-star. So he's like a composite 4-star, but a 3-star. And I don't know how the composite works. Math is hard. I was a communications major. But like he's coming in that June 13th window, I think, for that visit. A lot of uncommitted folks coming in that weekend. So he's going to be a guy who can recruit for Texas. And when you come in and you get to hang out with your quarterback on the recruiting visit, that's always something that you like to see. So again, I love this addition. I think he's a guy who probably could see a rise, like you said. He's already, and again, I don't know how the math works, but he's a 4-star on the composite, but a 3-star on 247 and on 3. So whatever, math is hard. But he's a guy who is going to see a rise just based on like this is the last thing I'll say. Just go look at the offer list, right? Who has offered him? That's the end of the conversation, right? I don't care about the stars. Go look at who's offered him, and that tells the story.
No, 100%. I mean, that was kind of the thing with Alabama. Alabama would land one of these 1 or 2 big time 3-stars, but you see the offer list, it's a crap ton of really good schools. Yeah, and it's the same thing with Nicolas Robertson. And like I said, I think he's going to be a really good player. I think he just has to have the patience, and I know that's really hard during this day and age because you see guys transferring all the time, but I think you have to believe in the process. We see this with Kyle Flood, where you have like your Kelvin Banks starts right away, goes off to the NFL after 3 years, and then you see more of your Neto Umulu route, who hasn't even stepped on the field but stayed with Texas, and I fully believe he's going to play pretty well for Texas when he gets his opportunity this year. Cam Williams was patient, played 1 year at Texas, left. That could be you as well. There's multiple routes to take to the field. You just have to be patient with it here at Texas.
Yeah, and he's a guy, again, like I said, who is in that Kyle Flood mold. And I'm old school in a lot of ways. I love seeing an offensive lineman come in, sit for 2 years, play for 2 years, and then dip. Like that's how it was 20 years ago, and maybe that's just how I like it.
No, 100%. I mean, that's literally what Alabama would do is they'd have one guy play. Basically, he would sit for a year or two, play 1 or 2 years off the NFL. They'd have another guy rotate in, rotate in. That's how,
Rinse and
I mean,
repeat.
yeah, rinse and repeat. Georgia's kind of the same way about how they do it over there. So once you get it going, that's how it should work. And I think you're going to see that because I think Trevor Goosby's, honestly, if he plays like he did last year, probably gone after this year. And then you have someone else step in, play for a year or two, off to the NFL. So I think, and the more times you do that, by the way, the guys are willing to be like, you know what, I'll sit for however long it takes because I'm just on a factory of the NFL right now. Whereas it's hard to gain that trust, but they are gaining it.
And like we've talked about before, the kinds of players that Texas are recruiting, the NIL issue is not an issue, right? They're going to get paid wherever they go. So are they a culture fit for Texas? And are they somebody that they feel like Texas can build them into a NFL draft pick, right? All these guys aren't coming to Texas just for Texas. Like, I love Texas. You love Texas. They're coming to Texas because they see Kyle Flood and Steve Sarkisian as the guys to get them to the NFL. And so that's the equalizer. This year's draft class, having multiple guys get drafted. You'll have Kelvin Meggs probably in the first round. You'll see multiple mid-round guys go off the offensive line. That's why these guys are coming to Texas.
100%. And the $50,000 pancake factory doesn't hurt either. You know, that's your minimum you're going to get paid. So, hey, sit for 2 years, make $100,000, and then go in and play for Texas for a year or two, and then off to the NFL, make even more money. So it works out for everyone. We really appreciate you guys sticking around.